I'm just laughing. You said, what kind of cheater are you?
Yeah,
How many types of cheaters
there's
are there?
two.
From any negatives to positive, just like that. From the darkness we rise up, never look back. Shattering barriers, breaking through every wall. No more doubts, we stand tall and proudly call.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Negative to Positive Show. And today I have my special guest, Andre Blaylock. I tell you what, he's been my friend for years.
Oh, absolutely.
And the universe brought us together, and we have not separated. Probably what, once a quarter, at least twice a quarter we talk?
Something like that, man.
Because I'm always amazed at what he's doing. He keeps adding things to him. And I just want to say, hey, what are you doing right now?
Right.
And he said, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. So, but hey, without any further ado, Andre, please tell us about from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. And don't leave out your books. And then your next assignment in life.
All right. I met Paul a little after 2014, I think it is. I just written my book, What's Your Date Number? And Paul was, at that point, he wanted to be an author. And then I'm telling you, you tell Paul something, once he sinks his teeth and stuff, he just goes, because he just, you know, I'm looking around, I'm like, Paul's like 4 or 5 books into my one. But What's Your Date Number? I took a comical look at relationships and dating using a number system. And I'm like, normally we rate people from 1 to 10 aesthetically. But I'm like, suppose those numbers represented personality types. And it kind of took off for me. Then after that, my second book was Cheat Proof, Why Good People Cheat and What to Do About It. Because let's just be honest, we're not gonna get away from cheating. People do it, most cheaters don't get caught. You gotta ask different questions. What type of cheater are you dealing with or whatever? The third book,
I'm just laughing. You said, what kind of cheater are you?
Yeah.
How many types of cheaters
There's
are there?
two. Now the motivation for cheating is the same as selfishness.
Okay.
Either I'm not getting something or I want something.
Okay.
Right? But there's two types. There's the compunction cheater, and that's the person that they don't know, they've never cheated. They normally don't cheat. They're honest. They found themselves in a situation, they fail, they own up to it. They don't have to be caught. They're willing to subject themselves to counseling, to do whatever it is that they have to do. And 30%, I think it's 20 or 30% of marriages dealing with a compunction cheater go on to build better, stronger marriages.
Okay.
Then you have the narcissistic cheater, and that's what I used to be. That's kind of like the once a cheater, always a cheater.
Did you own yourself? Did you just own yourself?
Yeah, I did. I used to.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I used to be a narcissistic cheater. There's a thing called cheater's high. It was the thrill of possibly getting caught, and I just didn't care. I mean, I was very emotionally immature and not that person anymore, but I know that there is a difference between being a narcissistic cheater and a compunction cheater. Okay. And then the third book I wrote was Forensics of Cheating. I co-wrote that with Terry Duran. He's a social media influencer on Instagram. And we explored the forensics of cheating. There is, like forensic data, there are things that lead to cheating, and you could identify those things. And then I wanted to get into 2 novels. So what I'm doing right now, man, is I'm on this camping outdoor life. I believe something is coming down. You need to know how to run into the woods and survive in case you have to leave your home. So I'm all about going out there in tents and generators and all that stuff.
I listen to what you say, and I'm like, I know your neighbors are like, yeah, we're doing this, we're doing this. But the biggest thing was, are you armed? Yeah, and that's a practice that you must do.
Absolutely.
Not just jump out there. 'Cause you've been in the military, I've been in the military. You just can't give people weapons and expect them to do what you see in the movies.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
So one of the things I loved about what you said about the numbers, explain the numbers and what made you come up with that, and then how you evolve from that. Because what I really want to go is, how do we evolve after that? Because there's some places I want to be later in this conversation.
Right. Well, from 1 to 10, we kind of think that the most attractive person is a 10, right? And the most, I don't want to call them ugly, but the most physically undesirable person, we might say they're 1 or 2. So I'm like, okay, since everybody's familiar with the number system,
yes,
why not just turn it on its head and make them personality traits? Like number 1 would be avoid me at all cost. I don't care how pretty or handsome he is.
Yeah.
If he's a number 1 on that personality scale,
yeah,
that joker got to kick rocks, because it's not going to represent anything good for your mental health if you're with him.
Right? You're asking for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a person could physically be like maybe a number 2, not the most attractive person to look at, but because of the work that they've done on the inside and how they shine, they become one of the most beautiful people that you've ever noticed.
Yes.
Right? So I thought there would be an interesting way to do that. And it kind of caught on. It kind of caught on because people could understand the number system.
Yes.
So that's the backstory behind that.
And on my book, Be Undumpable, my idea was that if you can find it within yourself, then you know if the other person has it or does not have it.
Right.
It says, be undumpable, it starts with you. And people will, like the art of communication. You can't say you're a communicator and then you're angry before you give an answer. You know,
Right.
you hate the question and then you get kind of slightly toxic, you know,
Right.
with the question, and then you answer it. Why didn't you just answer it? Right. What is it? And I guess we're moving into triggers. What about that level of communication that triggered you that you just can't answer the question? Because in the dating world, the purpose of questions is to gather data. But I was watching something on today, and I noticed that this lady was angry about the question, what do you bring to the table? But she was able to answer the question. To me, there's a problem right there in her communication skills, that she will argue first or take the negative first, automatic negative thoughts, and then answer the question. She took value away from her answer because now she has to put it in there. I don't communicate very well.
Right. A lot of people tell you questions anyway.
Say that again.
A lot of people tell you questions.
What does that mean?
It's like I could ask you something and I already in my mind have your answer. So I'm already ready to argue with you before I ask you the question because I know what you should or shouldn't be saying.
Yes.
So a lot of people do that.
I see that in politics. You know, you go out and you watch your favorite politician, you have your sound bites and your spot on questions, you're arguing points. So you know when you start talking to other people, if they're wearing red or blue, this opposite of you, you're going to start right there to that point so I can argue.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of like knowing your destination already, right? And, well, we as people tend to kind of ruin it in the beginning because what I say about relationships, bad relationships ruin families. And how they ruin it is you didn't do the work before you picked a person. And one of the things that you said and we agree on is friendship.
Right.
Yeah. I believe that when you meet somebody, you should be able to ask them what their definition of friendship is to see we have the same, hoop spot. Right. Because if not, your definition might be is I always do for you because I'm a great friend, but you never said that to me. What do you think about friendship?
I think in a relationship, well, first off, we're never taught to be friends.
Yeah.
And especially when you become an adult, as a man, once I realized that my thing can go into one of 3 holes that you have, it changes the entire dynamic of it, right?
Okay.
Because you start performing differently. So my thing is this, Paul, it's systems. Like you might have a system that you grew up with, and most of us do, the way we were raised, what we experienced, that's our operating systems.
Yes.
We're both computers, but your operating system might run on Windows and mine is on iOS. And somebody else might be on Linux.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not that we can't operate, we just can't bring those systems into the relationship that we're trying to build, because I don't care how you were raised, what you saw from your mom and daddy, whatever, that was their system. It's not going to be the system with your partner, no matter what I saw or experienced. So sometimes I often say update your software.
Right.
It's like, you can have floppy disks going on if you want to, but you're not going to have the best data transfer using.
And I thought that was so cool when you first started saying that. You got to upgrade. You got to constantly upgrade because what's new?
What's new?
And it would be great, just like I do for my PC. Do I want automatic updates? Yes, I do.
Yes.
I don't want to get updates the day I need my computer to work great.
Right.
Now I got to spend an hour because I skipped like 5 upgrades.
But you have the mentality, though, to know that your computer needs to be updated. Some people think they're fine just the way they are. This is the way I was raised. I'm old school. There's somebody out here that's going to accept me just the way that I am. And if they don't, they're not for me. We're incompatible.
Right.
No, you're running a floppy disk.
Right.
Or you went from floppy disk to cassette, or maybe CD, but even CDs, we're streaming music now. So even though CDs are pretty recent, they don't touch streaming.
Right.
You constantly got to be
Because Blu-ray didn't even take off.
It didn't take off at all.
It didn't.
At all.
So that was an idea that came in. It was an idea, but it really didn't work, and no one got with it. So I have found that the women tend to do an avoidance of upgrading.
Okay.
And
What do you mean?
if you can accept them without them sharing all that data, they're all in. Or you think men and women do it? Because I don't want to seem like I'm bashing women, but I only date women.
Right.
And I watch them do it constantly.
Right.
Is to avoid the updates that they could be possibly doing, like using terminology.
Yeah, I think there's a level of accountability issues on both sides. I think that women suffer from being put on a pedestal like they're the prize. You have to compete for them. You got to prove that you're worthy. And I think that from a women's perspective, it's like, well, you think that a man is supposed to show up and do all these things for you when there's no value proposition. Let's just say first dates.
Yeah.
Like I believe that whoever asks the person out should be willing to pay.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with going Dutch. You mention Dutch these days to some women. I know my values, I know my worth. Or let's just say they value getting their hair done, their nails done, their feet done, whatever. And they meet a guy. In their mind, that guy should be willing to finance all of that.
Yeah.
And so that's a level of privilege and entitlement.
I was kind of wondering, does it work? You know what I'm saying?
It'll work for those who work on it. That's why they keep doing it. It's working. It's
Okay.
working for them.
Okay,
But I don't think it'll work long term. Everything has an expiration date. Everything, even me and you, we're going to expire one day and get up out of here. So you were cute. And I hate saying this, but women, you're most powerful from 18 to 23. That's when you're most powerful, most seductive. I have women in their 50s still talking about.
In their mindset, at 23.
Yeah, and it's going to work for certain men, but it's not going to work for a lot of the men that they say they want, because the men they want, we're in Atlanta now, man. It's like the ratio is 20-1. I was on the podcast yesterday, and these sisters are very high earners.
Yeah.
Very high earners, still single. And we had a guy on there that's a very high earner, and he told them, I don't care what you bring to the table in order of finances, your degrees, that matters little to me. What can you do for me?
And I think that's where the inner person, not so much as the tangibles, they should be working on the intangibles when you answer that question. What can you do for me? And I think the woman who says that wins. The one who comes up with an answer for that, she wins. And if you don't utilize your that noodle up there to make some upgrades, because what'll happen is you'll get passed by, and then before you know it, you're 50, 55 years old and you're single.
And we take a lot of cues from social media and some of these celebrities and influencers. You got to realize those people are paid
Irresponsible.
sometimes to do stuff like this. Like, okay, well, if Vivica Fox is 50 or 60 and she's saying she's going to do whatever, it ain't a lot of people knocking down Vivica Fox's door at 60 as they were when she was in her 20s and 30s. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I'm just saying, Paul, it's like, got to take accountability and not be so, not picky, but.
I was thinking that my value has gone up since 2016. My value's gone up. It's because I went and got some psychological help. I am more valuable in many ways. I'm a Renaissance man. I can do almost anything.
Yes, he can.
But could I really be in touch with myself, which gives me an opportunity to get my partner to pause before they ruin it, instead of running into that toxic fight we're about to have, and I give more smoke, or I can slow you down and say, hey, this is not how we're going to do it, you know. And the only reason I can do that is because I worked on me. It has nothing to do with my partner. I want to be better for partners that I have. I was married 19 plus years, and I wasn't good at it.
Right.
So everything that I felt that I wasn't good at, I worked on. You know, not that I want to be married again, but just in case. And if that happens, I won't ruin it because I did not upgrade my mental data.
Right.
And one of the things I found out was, being by myself, I was not able to actually say, hey, you out of order, Paul.
Right, you don't see your blind spots.
Don't see your blind spots. And I think that's the purpose of having a strong partner, is for them to figure out your blind spots and be right there for you.
And know and provide a safe place to land. You have to pick someone that you can be vulnerable with.
Yes.
That won't hold your vulnerabilities against you.
Well, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes we're like, okay, well, you're wrong. No, we're different. The kids grow up realizing, wait a minute, you lied to me about Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. What else did you lie to me about? Right?
Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of leveled the playing field in a way that we didn't have. They could just tell us, well, boy, because I said so.
Right.
But these days you can look it up and be like, well, you wrong though.
No, there's no such thing as Santa.
It's like, yeah, it's like, what you talking about? You wrong. So I think that you have to upgrade your software because what worked before, certain components, will continue to work. If it's good, it's just good.
Yeah.
Right? If it's good, it's good. But it might have to work a different way. Look at cars. Cars work. They're good. Different engines, different horsepower. But we went to electric. It's good. We're not going to ever get rid of cars, I don't believe, or at least that form of transportation. We may fly in the future, it may elevate.
Yeah.
But some people just want to be like, this is just how it is. This is just how it always was. But just look at it like this, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised this way. Whatever my parents instilled in me that I liked, I will pass on to my kids. that I don't like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? When I have kids, I'm not going to do this to them.
Right.
So we still take the stuff that we like and we add on.
So you know what I do about that?
What's that?
I have a conversation with my kids. Mm-hmm. You know, so we can figure it out. What did you like, what you didn't like, and what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. I think that's the important thing that's evolution, right? Mm-hmm. Because you got to take those things that people would believe, and that's a lot of it. You know, what I don't know is what my kids saw. Mm-hmm. So I have to have conversations.
Or how they processed it.
Yes, all that. Mm-hmm. Because when you find out, it's not the day you want to find out. Mm-hmm. If you're like, hey, what did you think about your childhood that you didn't think was right? Let's talk about that, you know. And I think we should be in a position to do that for them because their kids are really important. Because if they're not liking something in me and how I conducted my life, what are you doing in place of that? Are you overcompensating in that when we're talking about they're spoiling kids? Spoil, the definition of spoil is rotten. Well, rotten kids make rotten adults. Then you can't get rid of them.
Right.
Yeah, so I think this is something we should be thinking about. In the wholeness of family, what are you going to do?
Yep.
Yeah, and you're in charge of that. And that's why I have the groups that I do, because men are oblivious to their roles, to families, because we've been shut out and, you know, kicked in the balls for so long. Then we should just get to the point right now is, how bad is it? What can we do to fix it, repair it, and upgrade it, and the ability to pass it on?
Yeah.
And that's why I do what I do. And that's why I asked you to come by, because in the evolution of you and I, the things that we thought was the hot thing, we're just like, well, it's not so hot because we're skipping this part right here, the mental health part.
Right.
And now we're just saying, let's add something to it for tomorrow, because it's all about tomorrow. We are tomorrow's history. We
are. And everybody has become relationship experts and gurus. You have a lot of men sitting around telling women what they should do. You have a lot of women sitting around telling women what they should and shouldn't do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, we're both of us, both groups need healing.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to heal from your past. Like, you got to heal from, like, okay, well, if you pay half the bills, then you're a roommate. But then you start looking at, okay, well, why do men die more than women or quicker than women? Sometimes it could be the additional stress of trying to handle all the bills and hold all this stuff over. It's like, I think we just got to
That is it, exactly. I would say stress, because I've been there. I was in the hospital back in 2019 for the level of stress I put on my body. Even though you stop, you know, the actions of stress, it's already done the damage to your body. So you have to be mindful. So now you're going to take care of your spirit, your mental health, and then your body, all that together. Because prior to me getting out of the military, maybe 20 years prior to that, if they did 25 or 30 years, they would die 5 years after getting off active duty,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the level of stress on their bodies. Now we retire earlier, and we are trying to prepare ourselves for the long haul because our average life expectancy is, I think, it's between 85 and 90. So I have to get ready for that. I think I'm gonna get me a new hip when I turn 75. I think it's a left hip. Yeah, because I'm getting ready.
Right.
Yeah,
A
so that's
bionic
the
hip.
plan.
Okay. Well,
So my friend, I thoroughly appreciate you stopping by.
absolutely.
You know what I like about men? When they say what they're going to do and they do it. That is refreshing because we live in a world being gaslighted and things like that. So we have to be truthful amongst ourselves. And I'm glad Andre does that because we will call and we will talk about the things that just keep this thing moving forward without hesitation. He's like, what do you think about this? And I say, what do you think about that? I says, hey, this is the direction we should go. And this is the direction that we're actually going. Because I told you I was headed here, right? And it's one thing I've learned, I've really enjoyed that I say that I'm going to do it and I do it.
Times 10. Y'all don't see this studio that he has back here, but I'm absolutely, utterly amazed because he said he wanted to do it, but he just doesn't do it like this. He does it like this, and he keeps me growing. And I think when it comes to the mental health part,
Yeah.
I like the fact that even though we don't do like this right, we do it like this right here.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I like
yes,
that.
yes. Because I need you to be who you are. Because if we were exactly the same, there would be no growth. You know, after I get off the phone with you, I was like, man, he's doing that and he's doing that. I was like, well, I ain't got no backyard. Hey, I don't know, I'm gonna show you, but I ain't got no backyard, so I won't be camping. But I grew up in my life Marine Corps camping, so I can understand, I can relate to that. I think most people can't.
Yep.
And that's what kind of things I learned about being in the military, especially when we talk about leadership. Leadership is taught for us, but it's really not taught for the guys who never been in the military.
Exactly.
So those are things we're talking about. We're talking about growing men to the level that it's going to help our families when it comes to being tomorrow's history. So Andre, I want to thank you for stopping by.
Absolutely.
And I guess the next time you're in town, we'll do something else.
You can't, and next time you are in my neck of the woods.
Oh, I got a plan.
Next time you're in my neck of the woods,
we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna work on your setup.
I don't know about this. We're gonna do something else.
Okay.
But hey, thank you for listening to me, and thank you for allowing me to come on your platform and talk to you people. I really appreciate that, Paul.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Peace.
From any negatives to positives, just like that. From the darkness we rise up, never look back. Shattering barriers, breaking through every wall. No more doubts, we stand tall and proudly call the strength within us, the fire that never dies. Fueling our dreams, reaching for the skies.